Welcome to a tutorial on the basics of Geometry Sketchpad. This tutorial will be broken into two parts. Part one, we'll be going through and looking at the tools and also a little bit of the menu bar. And part two, we'll get into more aspects of the menu bar. Up top, as you can see in the Geometry Sketchpad, you do have a menu, and all of these are drop downs. If you click on them, we have a drop down menus for several different things. On the left hand side here, this is the toolbar, and this is what we're going to look at in depth in the first tutorial. So let's start with the select arrow. The select arrow is going to be very important because that's the arrow you're going to go back to after you construct different objects. If I hold that down, there are some submenus here. One is a rotate tool, and the other one would be a slide tool. But for our purposes in geometry, we are going to just use the select arrow to start out. The second tool is your point tool. Your point tool, notice that when I select the point tool and I come onto the screen, the select arrow has a point at the end of it. So by left clicking, I can put points all over the screen. So go ahead and put some points on your screen. And then what we always want to do is after we get done putting points or lines or segments or arrays on the screen, we always want to go back to the select arrow, and that'll allow me to click off, which deselects everything. Click off means click into the white area, or click on and I can click on a point. When I click on a point, I can move that point wherever I want. If you click on multiple points, you can move multiple points at the same time, keeping the same orientation to those points. Okay, so let's go through and just select 5 points. And on the keyboard, we'll go ahead and hit delete. That's one way to get rid of points. Okay. Another way would be to marquee select. I can marquee select by clicking on the mouse key and holding down with the left mouse click and dragging. Notice that it gives you a box. Everything inside the box will then be selected. And I can hit delete again, and that will get rid of those points. So let's go ahead and marquee select all the points that you have on your screen and hit delete, and that will give us a clean slate here to work on in the Sketchpad. The next tool down will be the circle tool. We are going to deal quite a bit with circles in geometry. So by clicking on the circle tool and coming out, the first spot that you click will be the center of the circle, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pull out, and as I pull out, that will decide what radius you want the circle to be. And then I click a second time, and that will fix the circle to that radius. Remember, we always go back to the select arrow. If I were to click again, that would just start another circle. So we always want to go back to the select arrow. And with the select arrow, we'll click off, meaning click into a white area. Now nothing is selected. If I want to move the circle, I can click on the circle and pull it wherever I want to pull it. Okay, click off. If I want to change the radius, I can grab the center and pull, or I can grab the point on the circle and pull. And that will allow you to change the radius. Okay, let's go ahead and decrease the size of the circle a little bit, and we'll go ahead and move that circle to the upper right-hand corner. Your next tool is called your line tool. And what that's going to do is, if you hold it down, you have a segment, a ray, and a line. So by going across, I can select whichever one, and notice that it changes the tool. Okay, let's go back to segment for a minute. Remember, a segment has 2 endpoints. So as I come onto the screen, the first time I click will be one of the endpoints, and as I pull out, that'll give you your second endpoint. Now, if you want a straight segment, you can hold down the Shift key, and it'll make it a straight segment. Okay. Once you have the segment on the screen, remember to always go back to your select arrow, and now I can click off. By clicking on the segment, I can drag that segment wherever I want on the screen. If you want to change the direction that it's pointing, click off, grab an endpoint, and pull. That'll change the direction and also the length of the segment. Okay, let's do array as well. So under the segment tool here, we're going to switch this to ray. Remember, array has an initial point and continues in one direction. So the first spot that I click will be my initial point, and then as I pull out, notice that it goes and extends in one direction. By clicking the second time, that will fix the ray to the spot. By clicking off and clicking back on the ray, notice I can pull that ray wherever I want to pull it. If you want to change the direction of it or the spot of your initial point, you can grab the points and drag. Okay. And in the same way, we can do the line by selecting the line tool. Remember, a line extends indefinitely in both directions. So the first point that I click will just start the line. As I pull out, the second point will define which directions the line is going. Again, by clicking off, I can move the line wherever I want. I can also change the points, and that would change the direction of the line. Okay, so that is your line tool. You have segments, rays, and lines underneath the line tool. The next one is the polygon tool. I'm going to leave that for a couple minutes, and I'm going to go to the text tool. The text tool is going to be very important because this will expose the points. And we name points with capital letters, as we learned yesterday. So as I come onto the screen, notice that instead of having a select arrow, I have a hand. And when I point to one of the points, the hand will turn black, saying that I'm on the point. And when I click, it'll automatically assign a label to each of the points. It does go in alphabetical order, so you have A, B, C, D, whichever ones you assign first, second, and third as we go across. Okay. Ooh, I don't know why I did that. We'll go ahead and just hit delete here. There's point G. Let's go to the hand tool again, and here's point H. So it does label them in order. If I wanted to change one of the points, I can click on it and change it to whatever letter I want. Remember, letters are named with, our points are named with capital letters. So we always want to use a capital letter when we're talking about a point. Okay. And you're also able to move the letters about the point. So if you have something that looks like this where it's on top of the line, we definitely don't want that. I will take off points if you have your labels on top of the lines. So we want to make sure that they're not touching any of the lines when we label our points. The other nice thing is if I click on this point, this is point G is called the center. So I could click on G and it'll actually let me type the word center here as well. So you can label different points by what they are, center of the circle. Okay? Maybe I don't want H here, so I'll double click and this will be point S. Just remember to name the points with capital letters as you're going through. The text tool also allows me to type text. So what I'm going to do here is for each of the drawings that I create, I'm going to write a title and then created by. So let me do this first. I'm going to pull this segment down a little bit so I have a little bit of room for the title. I'm going to pull the ray up a little bit. I'm sorry, the line up a little bit so I got a little room for created by in my name. Now back to the text tool. By going to an open area with the text tool and clicking, double clicking, it'll give you a text box down below. I can change that. Usually we put the title in 48 and you can select whatever color you want. The bolder the color, the more it's going to stand out because most of you will be printing in the lab in a black and white setting. So let's go ahead and choose blue, navy blue for the title, and we'll just call this Sketchpad Demo number 1. Now notice how it put the 1 on the next line. So what I can do is grab my select arrow and I can grab this little corner box and pull, and that'll drag everything onto one line. I can also use the select arrow now to drag this wherever I want. If I want to edit it, I can just double click inside and it'll give you your cursor if you spelled something wrong or you decided you wanted to change the name of the title. Okay? By selecting all of it, I could make it bold. And of course, I'm going to have to drag that out one more time. Okay, click off, drag where you want, click off again. Sketchpad Demo 1, and that's right, created by in your name down below. So underneath here, I'm going to change that to a 36 font, and let's go ahead and do that in red. So created by Mr. Bone. And again, by going to the select arrow, I can move that wherever I want to move it. Okay, so now we're starting to involve some colors here as we're going through with our labels. You can also color the different figures that you're drawing. So if I wanted to make this segment AB a different color or a different line style, I can go under the drop-down menu to display here. Under the display menu, we can go to line style, and notice that you have a hairline, thin, medium, thick, and you can also choose solid, dashed, or dotted. So let's make this one just a little bit bigger. We'll go thick. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker now. I'm going to select the line again, and we'll go to display, line style, and let's make this one dashed. Okay. Also, by selecting the line, I can go to display, and the next one down is color. So by selecting the colors, here's your different colors. So if I wanted to make the segment orange, there is an orange segment. Let's make the array a different color besides what you made the segments. So let's go back to color, and we'll go ahead and do, let's do purple for that one. And the line, let's make that a little bit thicker as well. The thicker shows up a little bit better, I think. And then display color, and what color you want to make that? How about green? Okay. And we have a circle here, so we can select the circle, display color, and let's go ahead and make the circle, let's see here, how about a red? And that highlights the outside of the circle as red. The next thing I want to show you is how to construct the inside of the circle. So I want to be able to color this circle in. In order to color the circle in, you need to select the circle, and then underneath construct, it'll say circle's interior. Okay? You do need to have the circle selected, because if the circle's not selected, notice that interior is not a selection. You need to point to the object you want to fill in. So I'll point to the circle, and I'll go to construct circle's interior, and it automatically colors it. Now see how it has a checkered pattern? That just means it's selected. By clicking off, then you get the circle. Can I change the color of the interior? Sure. Select the interior of the circle, go to display, lines, color, and then under color, we can make it a red circle. So there's a red circle with a red outline. So that is a way to change the color as well. I wanted to point one other thing out. I know some of you were getting other letters. If I point to the segment or the ray or the line and I click on accident, notice it puts a lowercase script letter with the segment, the ray, or the line. So in order to get rid of that lowercase script, you're just going to point to the line again with your text tool and click, and it'll get rid of that. So a lot of times I get the question of, oh, it gave me a small K here. How can I get rid of that K? You're going to go to the text tool, point to the line, and select. Okay? So that is the first part of today's lesson. Let's go ahead and use the File menu. We'll go File, and this is very similar to Microsoft. If you're going to print something, let's go through the print features first. You always want to go to Page Setup first. Okay? By going to Page Setup, it'll tell you the computer where you're going to print. So in here is the computer lab. If you want a portrait or a landscape, a lot of times on these, what I'll do is I'll landscape them. And once you have selected landscape, let's hit OK. And before you print, you always want to go to File, Print Preview, because on occasion what will happen is it'll split the screen. And I'll go ahead and show you here on the next sketch. It looks like my Sketchpad's not responding. So go ahead and go File. Oh, there's my print preview. I notice that this all fits on one screen. If it's two pieces of paper as you're going through, just click on Fit to Page, and it'll scale it down to fit on that page, on a single page. Okay? Instead of printing, let's go ahead and go close. Let's go File, and we're going to close this file. It'll ask you if you want to save. My suggestion to you is when you do something, I would save to your iDrive in the future if it's something that you're going to turn in. For right now, we can go, no, we don't want to save, and let's open another file. File, New. Okay, so File, Close, closes out the previous one. File, New, opens up a new file. Okay, continuing on with our demo, what we also want to do is we want to go through the majority of this toolbar here. We're going to skip the last three, but I did want to talk about polygons. Polygons are created by connecting several segments together where you're only connecting the endpoints of the segment, and those are the only spots of intersection. So if I hold down the polygon tool, there's three selections. There's select the polygon with the points. When you plot the points, it will automatically shade. This one will shade and put the segments around the polygon, and this one will just create a polygon without any shading. So let's choose the last one. And this is any polygon, not just a pentagon. So if I click on a point and I pull, okay, notice I got a dotted line. The reason that I have a dotted line here is that was the last tool that I selected. So if I want this to be solid, go ahead and click, and we'll just make a triangle here. So to make the triangle, select the second point back to the original point, and that creates your triangle. Grab the Select tool. Let's go to Edit, Undo Construction of Segments, and that will undo your construction. Let's go back to Display so we have a nice solid line here. So we want medium. Oh, it's not going to allow me to do that, I don't think, here. Let's go back to Display here, Line Style. And it looks like we're going to have to go through and do the segment and then just change, or do the polygon and then just change the line tool after I get done. So let's go ahead and put our polygon back up. We still have our polygon selected. Let's make a 5-sided polygon. So 1, bring it out, click, 2, third vertex, fourth vertex, fifth vertex, and then to close out the polygon, we're going to come back to the original point. Okay. We'll go ahead and grab the select arrow, click off, marquee select the polygon. Let's go to display now and change our line style back to medium and line style back to solid. Okay. With the select arrow, go ahead and click off, and I can adjust the polygon by just dragging the points. So if you want to make it a little neater, or more of a regular type of polygon where all sides and all angles are congruent, you can try to do so by dragging the points. Okay. To shade inside the polygon, you're going to select the points in order. So it has to go in either a clockwise or a counterclockwise direction. And now go up to construct, just like we did with circles, to construct the pentagon's interior. Okay, here's my pentagon's interior, and we can go ahead and choose whatever color we want under the display. And let's make this a purple polygon. Click off, and now you can see the purple polygon. If you want the segments to be a different color, select the segments, click off, click on the segments. Under the display, choose the color you want. Let's go a little lighter purple for the segments. Okay, we can move the polygon wherever we want to as well by grabbing the interior of the polygon and dragging. So that is how you can create a polygon very quickly. Marquee select that polygon and hit delete. And let's do a little bit more with our line segment, our lines, our segments, and our rays. Remember yesterday we said that 2 points will determine the line. Well, 2 points will also determine a ray and a segment. So if I put 6 points on my screen with the point tool, and then we'll grab our select arrow and click off. By selecting 2 points, the first point that you choose will be the first point of your segment. The second point will be the other end point of your segment. Once I select the 2 points, I can come up here to construct, and notice I have 3 choices. Actually, I have 4 choices: segment, ray, and line, and then circle by center and point. Let's create a segment. 2 points will create your segment. Here's your segment that you're dealing with. Okay, go ahead and construct the ray and also the line. The first point that you choose will be the initial point. Second point will be the point that it's going through. Under the construct menu, these are just other ways to select lines. Now notice what happened here. That's because I had an extra point selected, so it selected rays or created rays off of those 3 points. If you mess up, just go to Edit, Undo Construction of Rays. Click off, initial point, point that it's going through, construct ray. Okay, let's click off. Select the 2 points for your line, construct line, and we can click and drag wherever we want here, and you get your segment, your ray, and your line. Okay, let's try a circle as well while we're here. We're going to go up here and create my circle. So given 2 points for the circle, we'll use that one as the center and this one as the radius. Select arrow, click off, click on the center, click on the point on the circle, construct circle by center and point. Then you can adjust the size of the circle as well. Okay, so very similar to what we had for the tools. Once you have the points down, you can always construct the segments under the construct menu. Remember, you need 2 points to construct a segment, a ray, a line, or a circle. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you is by selecting the point tool and going under Edit, notice that it allows you to do several things. The one that I'm most concerned with is select all points, because when you make a drawing, sometimes you don't want all the points on the screen. So if I go select all points, notice that all the points are selected. Okay, back to the select arrow. If I hit delete, everything's going to be gone because I created all those segments with the points. But if I go under display, I can go hide, and notice it says hide objects. The reason that it says hide objects is I have a ray also selected. So let me point to the ray and deselect it. Now I just have the point selected. If I go under display, I can go to hide points, and it'll clean my drawing up, and I have all the points hidden. If you need the points back, go to display and go show all hidden, and it'll bring all your hidden back onto the screen. So that is a way to hide the points. Okay, so your assignment for today is going to be to create a Geometry Sketchpad sketch of a picture that you want to have. Okay, so we're going to create a picture. It could be a house, it could be a car, it could be an airplane, whatever you want. You're going to construct a picture using the tools that we came up with. One other thing that I did want to show you as you're constructing your pictures, I always have the question of, can I make an arc? Can I make something like a portion of a circle? You can. You need 3 points in order to create an arc. 3 non-collinear points. What's the word non-collinear mean? Not on the same line. Okay, so here's my 3 non-collinear points. If I click off and select those points in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction, you go under construct. Notice that it says arc through 3 points. There's your arc through your 3 points. And now notice by dragging the points around, you can adjust the dimensions of your arc. Okay. Remember, I can change the color of the arcs the same way as I can change the color of my segments, rays, lines, and circles. Under the display, line style, there's your different styles, dash, dotted, or solid as well. You have your colors. Here's the color feature. If I want it to be orange, there's orange. Again, how do I hide all these points after I get done? Because I do want the points hidden in your drawing unless they are points that are part of the drawing. Like if you're doing a snowman and you want the 2 eyes and the nose as points, I would put those on at the end. So point tool, edit, select all points, display, and we'll hide points. Okay? And with each of the title, or with each of your drawings, you should have a title up here. I want to see what the title is going to be. Just in case I can't figure out what drawing you made, I want to be able to refer back to the title of the drawing, and I can say, oh yeah, that looks like a car now. So you need your title, and then down here, you want created by in your name. Title should be in 48 font. Your name should be in 36 font, and you can do whatever color you want there. Again, before you print, go File, Page Setup. I would try to landscape these, so make sure this is on landscape. And File, Print Preview, just in case it shows up on two separate pages. If it shows up on two separate pages, we're going to click on Fit to Page, and by fitting it to page, it'll shrink it down and put it all on one page. And then you can print your drawings. You have the remainder of the period then today to go through and create a drawing using the tool features that we discussed in class. Again, if you have the points already on the screen, you can again go through and just construct the segment with 2 points, or the ray with 2 points, or the line with 2 points. Okay, shading in, select the circle or select the polygon in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction if you're doing polygons, and under the construct menu is where you will see construct polygons interior or construct circles interior. That will take care of the first tutorial on the Geometry Sketchpad.